moon is not just a natural satellite we see floating in the sky, for the moon has a direct impact on Earth through the tides. Approximately twice a day, the water in the ocean rises and falls in a process called the tides. Today, we're going to explore some important scientific terms like gravity and mass as we study how the moon impacts Earth's tides. High tide occurs when the water in the ocean reaches its highest point, and low tide is when the water has receded to its lowest point. The Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick, Canada has the highest tides in the world, meaning that there is the greatest difference between high tide and low tide. It is due to the moon that these massive movements of Earth's water occur. See, the moon has its own gravitational pull, just like Earth. In this way, the Earth and the moon are pulling towards each other. Gravity is a force which affects everything. It is due to gravity that one object with mass, or simply something made up of matter, is attracted to another object made up of matter. A related term is density. Density refers to how much matter is spread out over a given space or volume. If you pick up a stress ball or tennis ball and a rock of about the same size, the rock is going to be quite a bit heavier than the ball. This is because the rock has a higher density, meaning that more matter is packed into a space. We just touched on a couple of important terms, so let's review them quickly. Mass, if you think about it very simply, is how much matter makes up an object. Density is how spread out or compact the mass of an object is. Then there is volume, which is how much of an area an object's mass fills. So if an object has a mass, it is also going to have gravity, and gravity can be exerted on another object. Gravity is measured from the center of the mass of the object, so if you have a perfect sphere, this would be the center of it. The amount of gravity you feel will depend on the mass of the object, your own mass, and the distance between you and the object. If you are the moon, you will feel the gravity of Earth, and if you are Earth, you will feel the gravitational pull of the moon. However, there is also a great distance of an average of 384,400 kilometers between the Earth and the moon. This distance lowers the gravitational pull between the two. Tidal force is the term used to describe the change in the force of gravity due to distance. Let's draw a diagram of the Earth, the moon, and the tides. Pretend you are hovering above one of Earth's poles. From this perspective, it appears that the water on Earth is being pulled towards the moon, while the water on the other side of Earth is being pulled away from the moon, creating two bulges and giving Earth an elliptical shape. The side of Earth nearest to the moon is pulled toward the moon by the moon's gravity, but so is the center of the Earth, moving the Earth as well. The side of the Earth furthest away from the moon is almost 13,000 kilometers further away from the moon than the near side of the Earth, meaning that the far side experiences a lower gravitational pull, creating the two bulges of water on the Earth. At these bulges are the high tides. Since the Earth is spinning, a specific location on the ocean goes through two high tides and two low tides almost every day. The moon is moving at the same time as the Earth is moving, causing high tide to occur about an hour later each day. The sun also has an impact on Earth's tides. The sun is much larger than the moon, but due to its distance from the Earth, its gravitational pull is not very strong. However, it still affects the tides. At new moon and full moon, the tides are stronger, and people have named this the spring tide. But don't be fooled by the name. The spring refers to how the water springs higher at high tide and lower at low tide, and has nothing to do with the seasons. Neap tide is the name given to the tides that occur when the moon is in its first or third quarter. The gravitational pull of both the sun and the moon in different directions causes the low tides to be a little higher than normal, and the high tides to be a little lower than normal. The world above and around us interacts in fascinating ways, and the impact of the moon on Earth's tides is just one part of this.
Bingoa.